Hi, seventh grade. Welcome back. Today is Thursday. Um, a couple announcements. Next week, you're going to be taking a couple quizzes from me. One is going to be on Aztec society, religion, and the conquest of the Aztecs. You are also going to be assessed on writing CE paragraphs. We'll have a couple more practice at that. This Friday, you will be able to retake your listening quiz if you want to improve it. I will post those grades in Classroom, not Classroom in Power School, on Thursday, so you'll be able to see your score. So on Friday, you'll have that chance. Today, we're going to be looking at, we're not going to watch any videos like on YouTube. Instead, we're going to be doing some reading together. Before we do that, let's look at your exit ticket from Wednesday. 90 students took it, which is pretty good, but there's still quite a bit of students out there that are not taking the exit ticket. Okay, so where was Cortez born? Cortez was born in Spain. He was born in Spain and came as an explorer to the New World. Okay. Which of the following was the original job of Cortez? So this was a mistake that I made in Edpuzzle. The original job of Cortez was to explore. Okay, to explore. He eventually changed his mind and he was going to conquer. Maybe that was his idea from the beginning, but his original job that he was given was to explore Mexico. Okay. When Cortez first arrived in the Aztec capital, how did the Aztec receive them? They let him into the city, right? They did not try to kill him. They did not try to convert him. They welcomed him into the city, thinking that he might leave on his own. What did Cortez think of Tenochtitlan? We went over this yesterday. He thought that Tenochtitlan was a beautiful, amazing city, and he actually wrote to the king of Spain about how amazing he thought it was. Which of the following the Europeans had that the Aztecs did not? The Europeans had horses, cannons, and iron swords. Okay, the Aztecs did not have that. They were surprised when they saw these tools, these weapons. La Malinche was a native woman who joined Cortez and helped them translate. Eventually, she became his partner and they did have kids. What happened to Tenochtitlan once it was conquered by the Aztecs? It was destroyed. Okay, Mexico City was built on top of it. Which of the following killed the majority of people in Mexico? Diseases. It was diseases that killed most people in Mexico because they did not have an immunity to it. And then if you can give the Aztecs advice before Cortez shows up, what would you say? Don't let him in, kill him now. I was looking more for like an answer that was a little more in depth. Like, understand who this person is. He is going to destroy your empire. He is going to kill you. He is carrying a disease that's very contagious. Go hide. Keep him away. They want to destroy your empire, kill you, enslave you. Your whole way of life is going to change. Your religion, your language, everything is going to change as a result of this person. Okay? So today, it's going to be kind of interesting. So today, I'm going to read this document with you guys, okay? These questions you're going to answer in classroom. Okay, you'll have 3 questions to answer in classroom. You'll also have this document. I'm not this person, I'm Mr. Merlos. You also have this document to read. It's only 1 page. And you'll have these questions as a Google Doc. Not as a Google Doc, but as a Google form. So you have to answer these questions as a multiple choice. I might include a couple more questions in here, especially questions that I included in the exit ticket on Wednesday. So this form you will read, this document you will read on your own, and you'll answer these questions. I'm particularly looking at this question. Question 6. They're all important, but we are looking at drawing inferences from documents. Remember, an inference is not something that the document says outright. It's something that you can figure out based on the document, based on what the information you get from the document. So again, this document you will work on your own and answer these questions in a Google form. This one, I'm going to work with you guys right now. And you have these questions to do in Google Classroom. Yeah. Okay. History makers, Hernando Cortez, ambitious adventurer. So it says, friends, let us follow the cross, so religion. And under this sign, if we have faith, we shall conquer. This is the motto displayed on the flag of Cortez. Hernando Cortez was a restless, that means constantly always on the move, aggressive man who was eager for adventure, hungry for wealth, and ambitious for power. So this is some of the words they're using to describe him. He was aggressive, hungry, ambitious. These drives combined with wily. I don't even know what that means. This word. I'm guessing interesting, good intelligence. Oh, this one, wily. Sorry, wily intelligence, great energy, or willy, and a chance opportunity enabled him to conquer the Aztec Empire. So he conquered the Aztec Empire. Important. So he's aggressive, he's hungry, he's ambitious. All these things combined with his intelligence allow him to conquer the Aztec Empire. Early in life, Cortez shows signs of his desire for excitement and control. In 1504, he left his native Spain. Native means that's where he's from, native. To seek opportunities in the New World. So native doesn't necessarily mean Native Americans. It can be, he's a native from Spain. He spent the next 14 years on the island of Hispaniola. Remember Hispaniola, one of the big islands? Helping Diego Velázquez conquer Cuba. Velázquez heard stories of a rich land full of gold to the west. So the west, so if Hispaniola is here, west will be that way. Okay. In 1509, he gave Cortez the assignment of investigating, only investigating the area to settle, to see if the stories were true. So his first job was to investigate. As Cortez prepared his expedition, though, he displayed such arrogance and ambition that Velázquez revoked the order that put Cortez in charge. So Velázquez realized that this guy might not be the best one to trust. This guy might not be the one that we put in charge. However, Cortez ignored. Velázquez loaded his ships and sailed for Mexico. So you can kind of see, you can make inferences, right? What kind of person is Cortez based on this? What kind of individual is this man? Upon landing there, Cortez learned that the stories of gold-rich empire were true. As a result, he moved to establish his authority over the mission as legitimate. He ordered his men to build a town, name a council, and lead the town, and then had that council name him captain general and representative of the King of Spain. So he was able to figure out that if he developed this, a council, a town, he was going to be allowed by the King of Spain, most likely. Because technically he shouldn't be doing this, right? Because Velázquez did not allow him to do that. Let me erase this. Moving on. Cortez also took 3 additional actions. So 3 things he did. He made contact with Native American woman named La Malinche. This is the lady that becomes his translator. She became a value advisor because of her ability to speak the Aztec language and to learn Spanish quickly. So she was able to learn Spanish quickly. Next, Cortez sent a sampling of gold gifts that he had received from the Aztec on a ship back to Spain. So he got some of the gold that he had received and sent it to Spain, right? This is a way for him to tell the king, there's gold here. Let's get this done. With these presents for the king, he hoped to win a final appointment. Finally, he boldly had his men burn. He had his men burn the remaining boats. There will be no returning to Cuba. So again, he is the boss of this. He's establishing his authority. He tells his men, "You're not going anywhere." He burns the boats, the ships. They can't go anywhere. Okay, they're in it for the long haul. With the preparations complete, Cortez now set out for the Aztec Empire, taking advantage of the resentment, that's a good word, that the other Native American groups held against the Aztecs. So resentment means he took advantage of the fact that some Native groups did not like the Aztecs because they were being dominated by the Aztecs. So he's taking advantage of that. Taking advantage of the resentment that other Native American groups held against the Aztecs, he forged or created several key alliances. Someone said they didn't ally with the Europeans. They did. These were important as his small force of around 600 men was woefully outnumbered by the mighty Aztecs. So he only had 600 men. The Aztecs probably had hundreds of thousands. The Aztec Emperor Montezuma II sent several missions bearing gifts. Bearing means bringing gifts. hoping to persuade Cortez to turn back. Based on this, we know that he's not going to return back because he's power hungry. Montezuma does not know that. However, the gifts of gold only convince the Spanish to continue. So instead of leaving, they're like, oh, gifts, this gold, where we want more. Cortez, there's this letter from one of the Spanish priests that says that the Spanish are hungry, that all the gold in the world can't make them full. Cortez, meanwhile, used dogs. So again, these are some of the things, right? I don't know if the Aztecs had dogs. They definitely did not have horses, guns, and cannons. Oh, I guess they didn't have dogs either, none of which had ever been seen before in the Americas. To surprise and scare the native people, none of which had ever been before in the Americas to surprise. So these things scare people, right? Imagine if an alien race comes to the world today and brings a weapon that you had never seen. A weapon that is so outlandish, so scary, so ridiculously powerful. You're going to be scared. And this is kind of like the situation that the Aztecs are in. They see these animals. They see these animals like the horses. They see these weapons. They're like, what is that? Like this explosion coming. It's insane. Okay, none of which had ever been seen before in the Americas to surprise and scare the native people. As the Spanish near the Aztec capital, Cortez learned of an ambush. So they were gonna attack him. He quickly struck first, though, and killed thousands of enemy troops. However, a Native American account disputes that version, saying that Cortez carried out a premeditated massacre. So history is difficult, right? Because we need to understand who's writing history. If you only read Cortez, his stories are different than the Aztecs. Cortez is like, no, I attacked first because they were going to kill me. The Aztecs are like, no, you just decided to kill everyone because you could. After reaching the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan, Cortez took hold of Montezuma and tried to rule through him. Trouble with Velasquez's return, however, and Cortez traveled to the coast to meet a Spanish force that had landed to seize or take him. Upon meeting this new army, Cortez described the riches of the Aztec Empire and convinced the soldiers to join him. So Velasquez sent a whole bunch of soldiers, to attack Cortez, and Cortez, being this, was able to convince those people that were going to attack him, those Europeans that were going to attack him, convince them to actually join him. And convince the soldiers to join him. Reinforced, he returned to Tenochtitlan to find a crisis. His second in command had killed many Aztecs and ignited revolts. We talked about this yesterday. Why? What happened? Right? According to the Spanish, the Aztecs were sacrificing people and acting like insane, and they had to attack. To the Aztecs, the Aztec story is different. The Aztecs say, well, no, the Europeans just saw the gold and they wanted to attack. The Spanish were being assaulted by them. Cortez had to withdraw from the city under attack. Within 2 years, though, he completed the conquest of the Aztecs. And again, the conquest of the Aztecs is due for multiple reasons, right? Diseases, weapons, alliances, and sometimes just luck. In the meantime, Cortez had won the recognition that he had sought from the Spanish crown, from the Spanish king. He was named governor of New Spain, part of Mexico. He was named governor of New Spain and began to set up the roots of a Spanish colonial government. He would eventually lead more expeditions to Honduras, another part of the New World, and Baja California, but none proved as successful or lucrative as his voyage in Mexico. So none of them were as good as the one in the capital of the Aztec capital. Questions: how worried was Cortez about his actual authority to act in Mexico? How worried was he to act? Evaluating judgment. Do you agree or disagree with Cortez's decision to burn his ships? Explain. Do you think that Cortez was admirable or a villain? Should we celebrate him as a great conqueror, or is he a villain, a bad individual, an awful person? Explain. So you'll have these questions. I might have you guys pick 2 out of 3. I might have you guys pick 2 out of 3 questions. So you probably won't have to do all 3 of them. And then you'll have your exit ticket to work on. So you can read this I'll give you access to this document again. You have to read this document on your own. It's pretty similar to what the other one's saying, but there's little things here and there that they might have included a little more detail. Okay. For example, you might not be able to see this question there. Okay. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. So tomorrow, two questions in classroom, and then the exit ticket. I'll see you guys later. Bye.